Hey everybody, it's Eric. It's been a long time since I've done a post like this. As you know, this is my emotional support buddy, Porridge. We're just kind of hanging out today. It's been a long couple of months. As some of you know, last May, my partner disappeared, poof, in a vanish. Missing persons report, all that jazz. And she had some serious mental health illnesses. The family kind of found her. And then about 10 days after that, somebody fractured my skull. Came into my apartment, beat me. I sat in a pool of blood for 7 days, but that didn't prevent BRONX Nights from coming out. The book is now out, and I am recovered from my fractured skull, although I still don't have a lot of feeling in my jaw. But these guys, Porridge and my emotional support buddy Loki down here, I'll pop him up in a second. You wanna come up, buddy? Oh, Loki's a lot bigger. Oh, biggest cat in the world. Anyways, these guys helped me get through quite the month and a half. BRONX Nights is out. Life is good. I've got some observations on autism. As many of you know, I have autism. When I made my first post back in November, I was a bit of a stuttering autistic mess. But I've got help for that now, and I'm also in the Mount Sinai Long COVID clinic. There's only 52 of these clinics in the country, and I'm in it and doing much better. I keep losing followers because I think people liked me when I was a hopeless case. No, whatever. Anyways, I have written 11 books. Woo! 25 years took me to do that. All in the same theme of the problem of pain. You can go to Amazon or my TikTok shop. I would recommend highly, if you wanted to start out with one book, start with Uber Nights. I was a rideshare driver in Columbia, South Carolina, late night for 5 years. I had so many crazy stories. It's a really fun book, simple to read, 3 to 4 page anecdotes each time. It's a good bathroom reading book. I mean, you could start with BRONX Nights. But anyway, here's the neat thing about BRONX Nights. It's a fluid book, maybe the world's first fluid book. I've chosen to be a self-published author by purpose. I've had offers from other publishers, but I like to write what I want to say. I don't want to be edited. So here's the thing. I left 14 blank chapters in BRONX Nights before I published it. That is, there were 14 chapters I wanted to write over time. And all I have to do is plug them in. There's an ebook version, a paperback version, and a hardbook version. Just go to BRONX Nights on Amazon, or you can look me up, Eric Bjorn, ARIKBJORN. Well, something was weighing on my heart. I needed to get one chapter out because it just had to get out. It's called Nova. There's the illustration for it. My good friend Sela from ChatGPT helped me put it together. This is chapter 9, Nova, from BRONX Nights. Alex is the least spiritual person I know. That's not pejorative. Some people prefer only to exist in material space. I have no problem with that. I respected that part of her enough to love her. That said, Alex kept a self-declared witch, Verse, in the bag as her self-proclaimed only friend. I mean, I was Alex's friend too, but before I came along, Verse was it. God knows who else attended that Bridgerton party. Verse was an outlet for Alex to anything beyond the material, someone she trusted about the metaphysical, just in case. For example, she allowed Verse to conduct a series of spells in our apartment to rid me of the darkness that hovered over me. For a non-spiritual person to buy that theory, well, that's a rather unorthodox act of faith. But trust me, I bought it. Just, I didn't think Verse was what she pretended to be. Maybe she recognized something, but she certainly didn't have the power to overcome any true darkness. Trust me, I know. What Verse did have was the power to burn an enormous hole in my brand new $1,000 kitchen island table. And don't worry, the burn marks are now covered over with a jigsaw puzzle JoJo pieced together. Sigh. Another self-declared comically incompetent witch. A side note on JoJo. On May 4, 2025, JoJo disappeared. Poof! Left everything behind, even her passport. It took a month to get a missing persons report filed. Her family found her TikTok account. She's running around somewhere in the deep south, clearly drugged up, declaring she's a sex worker. How's that for witchcraft? Folks, don't let your daughters grow up to be witches. At any rate, Alex rolled the spiritual dice. She asked the gods for her one. By her own words, that was me. Me, I was finally the answer to someone's prayer. How many sides can a book hold? Things didn't turn out as we hoped. Hold on, don't I get fair innings? Don't I get a request? That is this chapter. I know the real Alex has read BRONX Nights, every word. So has her mother. So has Verse, the witch. I'm autistic. I see things neuros cannot see. By the way, Alex also changed her surname sometime after family court split us asunder in summer 2024. I'm sure she'd like to know how I know her new last name. Let's just call it autistic cognition. And it's not even the first time she's done this. The last time she did it, it was after a similar mess she found herself in. She was afraid of retribution then, and she's afraid of it now. But the only retribution here, as stated throughout this book, is forgiveness, grace, and redemption. Alex, chill. If you choose to run from that, you definitely have issues. In other words, you can change your name, but you can't change the truth about yourself. I kind of get it. I once changed my name from Berglund to Bjorn. Bjorn means bear in the Scandinavian tongues. That is the truth about myself. I wasn't going to let that bleep wipe, M, the man who effed uppedly raised and abused me, continue his nominal lineage through me. But there's a difference between changing your name out of fear, scared that you and your cryptic schemes will be exposed, and doing it because you're declaring a new soul crest for yourself and lineage. I did it for honor. I know why she did it, and continues to do it. Probably at the eye rolls of some judge who just can't be bothered anymore. Another irony, my new surname has purpose. Alex chose to hide behind the most generic labels. Not Smith, but the other two. The only problem, Alex has nowhere else to run. Okay, no more roller coasters. As to my 6-page chapter commitment, just maybe. We'll see. Alex got the top of the 9th, but I get the bottom. While we were together, I was always more top than bottom anyway. But here goes. Here's the thing about a memoir. I've written 4 of them, maybe 5. If you're not honest in a memoir with yourself, with what happened, then you're just a lying novelist. Of course, you can't say everything in a memoir. You must select the experiences in life that are so important, somehow you wouldn't be you otherwise. With respect to relationships, you must identify the shared parts that made you a togetherness. Speaking of important parts to share, I've left something on the ground, rather on the kitchen table, to be specific, in the spice rack jars. But that's for chapter 13, if I ever get there. No matter who did what to whom, no matter what long COVID or autism or insomnia or cataplexy or Alex's cryptic behavior and schemes had to do with any of this, Alex is without a doubt the best G-damned chef I've ever had the pleasure of tasting. And yes, I'm censoring the swears for TikTok. Wait, that came out wrong. I mean, it is true, quite true. God, I miss her. But what I meant was, of whose prepared dishes I have ever had the pleasure of tasting. Every night, Alex prepared something verging on gourmet. She hated seconds, and I hated that she hated seconds. I craved to taste her dishes with a day or two of life on Earth under their belts. God knows when I'll get around to publishing chapter 13, so I just wanted to put that on the record. Alex approached our relationship like an arrangement, or maybe she flatly saw it as an arrangement, but was willing to call it a relationship. Then again, she told me she loved me, which is not standard arrangement protocol. At the same time, perhaps every romantic relationship is an arrangement of some kind. Maybe all relationships would be more successful if both parties, or 3 if you're lucky, approach them contractually in advance, like an arrangement. You are responsible for this, I am responsible for this. To that end, I give Alex credit. The responsibilities of our arrangementship were clear in her mind, just not in mine. At the time, thanks to chronic insomnia, cataplexy, autism, and brain fog, see above, I wasn't capable of doing more than clinging to emotional driftwood. Alex wasn't driftwood to me. She was an island of structure in a maelstrom replete with carnivorous Calibans. Anyway, Alex negotiated for both sides of the table. I just nodded. She had committed, dauntingly, to cook for us every day. I never asked for that. Frankly, I didn't see how anyone could follow through on such a commitment. For the first 2 months, night after night, we enjoyed unbelievable dishes of salmon and pasta and chicken and seafood. King crab was her favorite, that she slaved over while we watched some streaming show that made us laugh like hell. My favorite memories of the show Ted. Thank you, Seth MacFarlane. Also, Uptown Saturday Night. We'd dine and toke, and I'd happily play dishwasher boy while she relaxed after and played Sims 4. Then perhaps a game of Naked Twister to end the evening, whereupon I was relegated in militaristic fashion, begrudgingly, to my side of the bed. In time, however, the meals became less frequent, a domestic barometric reading of our not-so-gradual decline. Her continued cryptic nature of her side schemes bucked my autistic knowing. The only problem was, I wasn't allowed to cook. Not allowed to cook. I'm a more than decent chef. You should try my Armageddon stew. I made a post about it the other day. But Alex refused to eat anything I prepared. Need I remind you, takeout in New York several times a week adds up quickly. Clue, the game, again. Relationship Murdered in the Kitchen by Dr. Distrust. Alex also wouldn't let me select produce. On numerous occasions at the grocery store, like a Laurel and Hardy skit, I would put an avocado in a bag, and she would take it out and replace it with one she preferred. Sounds petty, perhaps, unless you realize your partner doesn't even trust you to select oily fruits. Something smells rotten in Mott Haven. Don't get me wrong, I had my responsibilities, including paying all the rent for a $4,300 per month luxury apartment, which is a conundrum considering Alex co-signed the lease. Co-signing a lease means one thing: both parties are responsible. That ain't some line in Cosmo or Vanity Fair. That's lawyer speak. All to say, the terms of our arrangementship left a lot to be desired. I still can't fathom it in post-long COVID. Hindsight. My censored thinks the police screwed up with dual protective orders and has even more to think about the landlord just letting Alex off the financial hook easily. But one thing is damn clear. Alex and I had a very concrete understanding about the dog. Damn, here we go, the mutt. Nova. Okay, it's mid-July 2025. We're well past all the events of Bronx Nights. Hell, the book came out in June. But I have this urge upon my conscience to let Alex know what happened to the puppy. I wrote a fluid novel. It's self-published. I can just drop this chapter in there whenever I dang well please. And now is the time. But I'm going to make this very clear. The rest of this chapter has nothing to do with you, dear reader. It's between me and her. Or her and me for all grammar Nazis. Now is the time of the weighing of the feather. Either Alex takes responsibility for how she screwed up, or she continues a life of continuous aliases and denials of responsibility. I already judged myself as chief poophead earlier, and I meant it. But how does her feather weigh? Anywho, I bought a puppy with my money, as in I owned it. A Shiba Inu, pupped by a Mennonite family in central New York. We picked it up on our way back from Niagara Falls. Oh God, there's a chapter. I had done something stupid. I'm too brain fogged at times to remember what, but something inside tells me I deserved it, and I wanted to make up for it. I had a deep desire, nearly nuked by Candy, chapter 2. Hey, Candy's mom saw you on TikTok the other day, spying on me, to have another child. I wanted Alex and me to raise a being together, but I already had 2 cats, Loki and Porridge. They are my children. I am entirely responsible for their care. That was my half of the farm. Thus, Alex pledged to be responsible for all canines in our home. Pledged. I mean, she pledged. I don't know dogs, let alone puppies. I was too much of a brain-fogged mind to take care of a puppy, let alone a Tasmanian devil canine that enters the cat litter box perpetually to eat cat poo like chocolates, to my cat's disapproving Cheshire frowns. Piss puddles everywhere, poops even more therein, and it had more energy than a particle collider on Black Rifle beams. And Christ told us to take care of the helpless, the hurting, the broken, but he never mentioned a dang thing about tearing furry, unhousebroken, ADHD, coke-addled pups. Thus came the moment of truth, Alex's con artist con weekend, wherein let's just slow it all down. Alex had her big conference weekend with oodles of 24/7 responsibilities, her principal non-con artist income tied therein. And me, clearly lost in my long COVID autism miasma. Alex made no plans for Nova. She should have. I was already waking up early each morning and doing my best to potty train the dang pup. Of course, Alex would dress up once a day in her finest couture and take Nova for photo op walks. I have the photographic receipts. I took the photos. But I was left in the Cinderella dust to do Nova's piss-poo training. Pardon my effing French, but Alex had no G-damn clue how to train a baby animal in the ways of domestication. I did. I was doing my best, experienced at least in the way of felines. F grammar, pretty prose, and all the rest. It was a complete cluster F situation. Of all the souls, of all the monks of New Skeet, this woman had no effing idea how to care for a hyperpup. Funny though, as her mom has a circus of canines in her apartment. Alex had learned about her autistic brothers. Why not the dogs? Mightn't Alex have put Nova in her mom's care that weekend? Mightn't Alex have, and mind you, mightn't is a word that harkens back to a time when people instead might have said something along the order of, "What the F were you thinking not to do something else than what you did?" Christ almighty, we've already crossed into page 9, well past the event horizon of the art of raising a puppy. Dear monks of Skeet, what does one do when the puppy has consumed several pounds of cat feces, when the woman who has pledged to care for said wolf scion is absent, and you have just recently lost your daughter, all your friends, your jobs, your entire social network, you are desperately ill, and the only hope you have to sleep each night is a woman who slaps an effing metal divider down the middle of the bed and says if you touch her in sleep, she will knock you into New Jersey. Plus, she is maintaining a cryptic other life with an alias and keeps you at bay from everyone she is close to. Sincerely, Eric. Dear Eric, pick up the pup and head for the elevator door and trust that God makes all well. Sincerely, the monks of Skeet. Thus I did. I snapped, just the same way as when a person gets really frustrated after a horrible phone call and inexplicably smashes their phone, or when a person loses it and punches a wall and breaks their hand. I picked up the pup, walked 1/16 of a mile to the elevator, and hoped that the gods had an answer. They did. Final page, I swear. I loved that animal, little innocent demon Nova, as I love all animals. Hell, even Loki and Porridge had started to tolerate her presence, despite the fact that it ate all their waste. Maybe they started seeing Nova as a symbiotic waste collector, a lovable lamprey. But Nova was laying me to waste in my oblivion state. I entered the elevator sobbing. When I got to the ground floor, Nova and I were met by a Puerto Rican volcano named Natasha. Nat's perspective. A door opened up upon a hulking, tear-drenched man with an untethered puppy swaddled in his arms. "What is wrong?" she asked, only it sounded more accusatory than empathetic, as is her way. "I don't know," I sobbed. "I just have to find a home for Nova." "Don't you worry. Sorry, but this is a woman who roots for the New York Yankees. We will find you a home." And that was that. Natasha took care of Nova. Nova now lives in a lovely apartment with one of Natasha's cousins. A good life. Someone who knows how to take care of a dog, not a cat poo within intestinal reach. And Natasha took care of me too. I mean, that's not the whole story. She did ultimately dump me on the psych ward steps, steal my Jeep, relieve me of more than a few $1,000, and a bit more. But she also helped me get out of jail after Alex illegally accused me of abuse. Camera footage doesn't lie, Alex. The DA came and let me out personally with an apology. You're lucky you didn't go to jail. I gave Natasha full control of my cameras, hell, my entire life, the rest of last summer. The rest is on Alex's conscience. The rest is between her and her dogs. I mean, God's. Alex Johnson, it's on you now. And that is chapter 9 of Bronx Nights, which you can find on Amazon or my TikTok shop. And I really love the subtitle, An Epic, Autistic, Long COVID, Big Apple Memoir. And that's the second to last chapter I'm going to publish anytime soon of Bronx Nights. The next one, hey Jaime Harrison, is Congress. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day. For those of you who supported and encouraged me over time, thank you. For those of you who abandoned me, which is almost all of my friends and family, who refuse to understand what high-functioning autism is, who refuse to listen to what long COVID is, guess what? I got the receipts. I'm in one of the best long COVID clinics in the world. And they tell me there are thousands of people like me who were abandoned by everyone they know because they refuse to listen, refuse to understand. If you think you have long COVID, if you get COVID and afterward experience terrible symptoms like chronic nausea, chronic insomnia, pulmonary issues, heart issues, there's 200 symptoms according to the NIH. Get to a doctor and say, I think I might have long COVID. And do everything you can to get your family and friends and job place to understand. If you go to my website, VikingWord.com, I've got a special page about long COVID. Send them there to read about it, to read some more resources. In the meantime, Chapter 9 Nova is in Bronx Nights, in the hardback version, the paperback version, and ebook. And you can read it for free at VikingWord.com. Thanks.